Okay, I'm gonna get started. Thank you for joining if you're online. I'm so excited to do this. Please comment below, say hi. I would love to know where you're coming in from. This is my first time doing it on YouTube, so I just wanted to give it a try and see how it works different from other platforms. I've done this before on Instagram and Facebook Live as well for events that I've had in the past when I'm at galleries. They love to feature artists, so I've been able to show up to those galleries and talk about my art there. But this one is 100% on my own terms, so I just wanted to practice like getting to do some more live events. And I think this is a great opportunity if you guys want to collage along, grab a tea, maybe just hang out. I've realized that I've only had this channel going for I think 3 or 4 months now, so not a very long time at all. And I would just love to, I guess, reintroduce myself and talk about my materials, as well as you guys sent in some lovely questions that I would love to go over. And then we'll get started on creating today. Um, yeah, today I have some magazines in front of me that are all from the month of March. So I thought that that would be kind of a fun idea since we're in March to go through some old magazines. The first two that I have in the pile that I can see right now are from 1953 and 1973. So those are super old ones. And as you can see, I have my book collection here. I've had to put some of my wood planks on top of my other magazines because I'm running out of space in this place. But yeah, so I'm just gonna jump in and do a little intro about myself first. So if you're new to this channel, I just wanna say hi, I'm Leah. I'm a collage artist and I've been doing collage, I think, for my entire life. It's definitely been a journey though. I've gone back and forth on what I wanted to do within the art realm, and just the last 3 years I've really honed down and only focused on collage with a little bit aside of other creative endeavors, because I always think that it's important to always do other things on the side as well. I started this company, well, I started doing my art as a business. It's kind of a company, I guess, but I took my art into the business world in the middle of 2019, so bad timing. But that was when I was ready to get started and really join into like the world of sharing art and that sort of thing. Before that, I really wasn't confident enough. I had started a couple art accounts and posted for years and never really got a following. And for some reason at that time, it really bothered me. But now I feel like I just do it for myself. And I hope that comes through with my content and that sort of thing. So I started the company, and originally when I started the company, I actually thought it was going to be for drawing. So I used to love doing, I call them ugly doodles. It's just my style of drawing, and it's very ugly. So maybe I'll show those at some point, but they're very fun. They would definitely belong in like SpongeBob realm of things. They're kind of funny. Um, and then I kind of worked into more digital illustration as well and those types of things. And I love doing them. And I went to school for multimedia. So I don't have a professional background technically in collage, but I did have a lot of training in fine arts, art history, and some other kind of multimedia facets. So I did video and audio, and I feel like in all of those assignments that I had, I was really working towards making these like more collage style videos. Like there was a lot of overlap in textures and that sort of thing. And when I got out of university and started working full time, I realized that I really missed just having the paper in front of me. So I kind of went backwards to those. And when I had a full time job, and I have a full time job too on top of this, I find that when I work online all day, it's like a 9 to 5 on a screen. Coming home and collaging is really the one thing that like keeps me sane. It's so relaxing, therapeutic, and I know if you're watching this that you probably think the same, because it really is just truly a way to take your mind off everything. There are so few hobbies these days, I find that, or leisure activities that involve not being on the screens. Even this technically, I guess, is a screen, but I just find that this is like my one way to fully disconnect sometimes and really just relax. So that's a little bit more about me. And yeah, maybe I'll jump into some of the questions that you guys had. I've kind of already answered this one slightly, but the first one was, do you have a formal training as a collage artist? And the short answer is probably no, but in a way, yes. I've gone to school for multimedia, as I said, and within that, I did a lot of courses in studio art and spatial art and like a whole bunch of different things. Like I definitely had to put on a lot of gallery shows and that sort of thing. So I definitely think that I've been given those opportunities, which is really, really lucky. And whether I have those formal training or not, I was able to put on multiple art shows at galleries that I was able to rent myself. So I feel like that's something that a lot of people can just do on their own time, and you could definitely learn from as well. The next question I had was given is, how do I see my process evolving? And by the way, people messaged me out these on Instagram, which was really sweet. I know that it takes a lot of courage sometimes to post comments and that sort of thing, but I really, really appreciate all the comments that I got and messages I've received through email and Instagram. I always find those amazing. But yeah, so the question is how I see my process evolving. So this year, as you're gonna see in the vlog that I post on Saturday, I definitely have said this a lot as well, is I wanna take my art to the next level of size-wise. So right now, most of my pieces are maybe like 10 to 13 inches, and then maybe maximum like 20 inches. So they're like a medium-sized piece for sure, but I mean, that's what I kind of work with in limitations of a magazine, right? So something that I would really like to work on is like working in larger scale. And this is a little preview of a piece of paper that I got printed. So I'm going to be working on a 6-foot canvas, which is really crazy and cool. And I'm really, really excited for that. And then along with that, I really want to just start getting to like larger sized things. Some of those things I really wanted to, and I've been trying to find this for years. If anyone has any ideas, please let me know. But I want to work with like large vintage billboards, and I don't know. I just have a feeling that there's probably somewhere in America, there's got to be a huge warehouse just full of the old billboard ads. If not, they're probably in the landfill. But I have a hope that like there's some, I don't know, farmer or someone who has a huge collection of the old billboards that I could possibly buy in a lot and do like literally massive pieces that could cover this entire wall. That would bring me a lot of joy, and it's definitely something that I want to try to challenge myself on, is larger pieces. And yeah, with magazines, like if I was to do a piece that's 10 feet big with magazine pieces, that would be a ton of magazine pieces, and I'm not really sure if you'd get a focal point or if they would just look like a little world or something, like a landscape piece. So that's just something that I was thinking of. I'm always looking for opportunities. Every person I meet that's an antique dealer or in the antiques of any sort, I'm always asking about that. I've posted on Reddit trying to find stuff, and I haven't had any luck, but I do have hope that that will come up eventually. And then, okay, so those were the 3 questions I've had so far. There's one that I wanted to ask on here too, is I guess, and maybe you guys will find this interesting too, is I wanted to talk about my goals for this live stream and doing live streams in the future. Obviously this one's a little bit more of a test, but I hope that you're enjoying it so far. If you're online, it's so nice to have you guys. But I would kind of love for this to grow into more of a like office hour where people can come on. I know that there's ways to live stream with multiple people, or maybe it's on a streaming platform then gets posted after. But I would love to be able to like have you guys showing your art that you're making, if you want to get critiqued or if you want to talk about certain things or how you can improve your pieces. I would love to be able to talk through those types of things. I think that having a community like that is super important when you're making things like this. And it's just like a great way to like have a show and tell community, you know, of collage artists, because I feel like we're a little niche. And I mean, other people that aren't collage artists could join too, for sure. I know that there's a lot of different other mediums out there. But yeah, so that's my hope for it in the long run. And then I just have one more question here that I got in an email. I'll skip part of it. Hi, Leah. So the idea is, I guess, how did you build your confidence as a collage artist? And I think the idea behind this, given the full-length version, is that I don't think that they have the confidence to post their stuff or show people their things. And I guess I just want to talk about my story of how I gained confidence in my practice. So mine is a little bit trickier, but I would definitely say, like, because I have a couple things that I think contributed to me having more confidence in my art. Is that one, I was really badly bullied as a kid. I really didn't have that many friends, and I feel like everyone kind of thought of me as like the weird kid. And then on top of that, I was dyslexic, and so I had to do like the weird kid classes or whatever. Or was that? That's how I felt in that moment. I don't think that for sure about other people. Um, and I had to build like my own self-confidence in those situations, I think, just because it was me against nobody. Basically, it was just like a very lonely situation, I guess, for myself. And yeah, so I feel like I had to build that up. And then on top of that, I sucked. I really sucked at math and sciences and stuff, which are considered, the smart kid subjects. So I feel like from a young age, I kind of had this like lack of outward support from the universe around me. So I felt like I really had to look inward for my self confidence and those types of things. And I feel like that's helped me to build my confidence in my art and other things long term. Like, I feel like other people have to grow to learn to give themselves support and confidence. But I feel like I, from a young age, just had to. I had no choice. So yeah, so that's kind of how I got started in that. And I think that this could go multiple ways for sure of how that question could get answered, but I feel like I'd always have like I don't really care if my art turns out well, to be honest. I don't think that that's something that I really care about. It's kind of more like I think of art like a video game, I would say, whereas you're not playing the game to finish it. You're playing the game because you love the journey towards that end goal, right? So maybe that's helpful to kind of picture it as like maybe you picture each collage you're making or artwork you're making or new skill you're trying as a side quest, and then it's all leading towards your larger mission, which is to become an artist and that sort of thing. Hope that makes sense. But that's definitely how I've thought of it in the past. And, I just love doing what I do. I love art. I've never found anything else in my life that's just been so consistent throughout every part of my life. Um, yeah, and I've just really enjoyed it. So those are all the questions as of now. I haven't figured out this if I can view comments or not, but why don't we get into one last thing is the first question that I figured would be better to answer now is what materials I use or what tools I use specifically. So material wise, I use vintage magazines. They're all from the 1920s to 1990s for the most part. A lot of them, and my first ones were actually the National Geographic books that I got. My grandfather had collected, I think, like, I don't know, like at least 50 to 60 of them, and my aunt gave them to me for my birthday because she had been holding on to them, and she's like, he's never going to read these again. So I got these maybe 5-6 years ago, I would say, and that was my first little taste of the vintage magazines, and I loved them. And then I met a woman at a vintage show, and I was like, she was selling vintage ads, and I was like, where do you put the rest of the magazines? And she was like, oh, I just throw them out. And I was like, jaw to the floor. I was like, we have a business deal right here. Like, I will take all your extra papers and magazines that you don't need, or, a lot of times she just needs the covers off of them because it's like a famous person on the cover or something like that she sells on eBay or anything like that, which I think is super cool. But then I get the rest of the magazines, and so I thought that was a pretty cool way to go about getting materials. Now, as for tools, I mean, you guys watch my videos probably if you're still here. So one of the main ones that I do is the Westcott. These are the Westcott titanium non-stick, and that's what I was trying to get. I was getting caught up on is these are non-stick. So if you cut tape, they don't stick. If you cut things with glue on them, they don't stick. And I think that that's why these are premium over other ones for collage artists specifically. These blades last a long time. I've basically had these forever. So I would definitely recommend getting a pair of these. And I love the ones with the bigger hole and then the smaller hole, but I mean, everyone's different. And then next, when I'm cutting out smaller pieces in the arm section, for example, if they got the hip out or whatever, I'm using this scalpel. I try to get the thinnest ones possible just because the papers I use are extremely delicate, and they definitely need that because I've tried with bigger X-Acto knives when I first got the vintage papers, and they were just ripping. It was terrible. So that's definitely a piece that I have been thankful for now. And then next is glue. So I always use I don't know if it's a Who or UHU glue. I think it's a German company. Yeah, made in Germany. These are amazing. They are archival and acid free, I believe, which is perfect for long-term collaging. So I have the other ones like Elmer's glue and all of those ones, but I started out using those pieces and I went back and looked at old scrapbooks of pieces I'd made through, I guess, like 10 years ago, and they're all not stuck anymore. They've come off, and even the backs of them have like a kind of like a yellow border that's leaking through. It's destroying the collage. So for longevity of your work, you're gonna definitely want to switch over to a glue stick like this. Um, I've only tested this for the last 3 years, I guess, and all of my pieces that I've used this with stick, and all the other ones, they don't stick, and then they get ruined. So I would recommend using these. I think I have some linked in some of my videos. It's definitely available everywhere though, for sure. So you could definitely switch over to that, and that's like an easy thing that you could do immediately to up your collage game if you're not already. The next thing that's more of a new tool for me, I've only had this for the last year, is this boy. I don't even know what these are technically called. This is Speedball is the brand, and I think that these are usually used for ink prints. So I think if you're doing like the lithium collage prints, you can use this to get the ink and then, you know, flatten it and all that. But this is really good too for collage because it gets out all the bumps. So I would highly recommend getting one of these. I've definitely used it a lot, and it's really good when you have a big piece that you can start with one side and kind of go like this and then slowly get it on, and that way you avoid larger bubbles or having any issues with like it lying down in the wrong way or that sort of thing. So this has been very helpful, and I can definitely see a very big improvement between the beginning of my collaging without it and this. And then the last one that I just wanted to talk about is this one by, I think it's Fiskars, the brand. This has been a life changer as well. So before I was just cutting freehand. I mean, I had a scalpel and ruler, but this is life changing. It's been amazing. So this has like, this is like a reusable, or you can get other ones, I guess, replaceable knife, I guess. It's like a little tiny blade, but it basically has a wire that lines up with the paper, and then you just like slip it through, and it has a perfect cut every single time. The only issue is you have to have enough paper on one side, otherwise it kind of gets stuck sometimes. But this has been a life changer if you're using like a full piece of paper. This is amazing, and I highly recommend getting one of these. I think these have gone up in price, but they are still really, really lovely. So yeah, highly recommend that. So I guess, okay, at this point, I think I've covered everything else. I'm just gonna check the comments if they're coming up. Sorry, one came up and disappeared, but I hope I can see it after. So we're just gonna switch over, and I wanted to collage with you guys. So I'm going to pull out some of the magazines here, and I'm gonna flip the camera, and then we're gonna collage. Very exciting. Okay. So I'm gonna do this. Sorry for the little intermission. To be able to see everything. Okay, there we go. So, and I hope you guys have a little tea. I'm drinking lemon water. It's like my new addiction right now. It tastes so yummy. I don't know why. It shouldn't, because it's healthy, but it's very lovely. So for now, I'm going to go through these. I'm going to go through these 3 magazines. This one is potentially March. I couldn't really figure it out. It doesn't have a date on it, so I just figured that this one could be like a random one that we bring in. And then we're going to go through this National Geographic, this Better Living one, and I love this cat picture. I've been trying to do a couple more cat collages because when I'm at markets and I have art prints with cat collages, everyone's like, oh my god, that looks like my cat, and it's an instant purchase. So I definitely wanted to try something like that again. But I figured that we could go through these magazines and then maybe make a collage. Hope that's okay. So again, this one's from 1973, right there, March. And I figured it'd be kind of fun to do like a March theme since it's March. These are pieces that I've never seen before, so I've had these in my bookcase, but I've never gotten to them, so I'm really excited to look through some new material. I really like this photo. And I even like this line, if you're used to the good life, ... I think that that could be really fun. So I'm just going to cut it out. I do like the RV too. That's funny. And when I'm going through books, I'm always reading the titles before I flip the page, because a lot of these are the things that end up being like the point in the piece that make a difference. I like this, for example, our competition is still boiling. I could definitely picture that being like some sort of like home war where people, where like a wife and a husband are like at war because of something. Aw, this one's so cute. Could totally picture like cutting out all the water from this and having something else coming through it. I'm not sure what to do exactly with it though, so I'm going to leave it for now. It's a good picture. Picture these people like in a soup or something. I don't know, maybe I'll cut them out. Since there's like so many amazing photos, I only like to take the ones that are like really speaking to me in that moment, or I can picture being in a piece that I make. Because I do love this photo, for example. I think it's really cool, but can I picture it in one of my collages right now? No. So maybe one day I'll come back and grab that. I've learned over a long time of collaging that I usually don't use illustrations. They always end up just sitting there, so I just don't really cut them out anymore. This is a really nice background. It's got a lot of color. It has like cows here, tractors here, and then almost like mountains or maybe a quarry for a mine. And I think that this is to do with this whole article, which is Peru. So maybe it's a like excavation site. I think that's really pretty though. So maybe I'll take it as a background. The color isn't coming out as well on the camera, but it's got like these lovely greens to it versus being more brown. It's like a, yeah, it's got like yellow and green tints. This is really cool too. I love the geometric pattern. I love that it's not actually a pattern as well. It's just a building with different people outside, and it's still got that organicness, and the colors are really nice. So maybe I'll cut this out as a background as well. Don't know if I got it fully in that cut. Oops. Caught on the staples. Oopsie. This is so cute. This could be interesting for the explosion series that I do, where I have like a big smoke in the background. I could picture, I don't really have people on the side here. Yeah, I don't have a good example, but I have this girl cut out, for example, like two people being happy, for example, and then having the little blow up in the background. Try to cut it out. Sometimes for National Geographics, I like to pull the staples out, but it always like ruins it long term, like it falls apart so much faster. So I try to avoid doing that if I can. Okay, I did that one pretty good. Let's see. Wasn't too bad. These are so old, you can see like the rust from the staple coming through and kind of tinting the paper. Maybe here's better. Definitely think this is really interesting for the shape of it. I'm not really sure what I would do with it exactly. I could picture this if I could find like a really cool scarf to go through it. It almost feels like the colors of it are almost like a Salvador Dali piece, which is really cool. But I can't really picture what to do with it right now. Okay, maybe I'll just cut it out. I really like it. I just hate cutting things out because I usually end up not using them, and then they join the pile, and you never know if you're ever going to find that pile again. So that one's really nice. really like this photo. It's smaller, but could definitely picture like something coming out of the glasses or replacing what he's holding, which I'm not sure. This isn't for that, so I'm not sure, but I'm definitely going to cut out that piece. I think it's really cool. But usually, I almost forgot, I always flip over the page first to see if there's anything that's cooler on this side. I mean, I really like these too. I think these are beautiful. I guess it would only be cutting off these two. So maybe I'll just cut it in really, really tight so that I don't have to worry about ruining the other pieces. It's always a battle when you like two things on the same side. So cute. I love it. And see, I only ruined one. So, I mean, these are great pieces. I really love them, and I think they're really interesting. So maybe I'll leave this page. I'm just going to grab a sticky note because I do want to come back to this page. I'm just not sure how to use it right now. And then because these photos are so old, I try not to put the sticky notes on the piece that I actually like because a lot of the time it ruins it. So it'll like pull off the paper, or yeah, the papers are just so thin sometimes. The National Geographics are a little bit better, but yeah, they're definitely like problematic sometimes. I think we're reaching the end of the first one, so that's a little good initial haul. Let me just remind you of which ones we cut out. So we have this one, and this one, this page. Love this one as well. The boat explosion, or oil leak, I'm pretty sure it is. This one and this guy. Usually I'd go through a little bit more and like read the articles that go with them, but for the sake of time, I'm going to just kind of flip through them a little bit faster. So firstly, I love this cover, so I'm definitely going to be cutting it out. I think it's so cute. They're sitting in a little hat, which I think could be something else maybe. And I do have another piece that's a cat piece that I called Curiosity. And it's kind of more of an abstract modern piece. It has like a city line behind it. I think that I could probably make this into a pear for it. His little ears clipped a little bit, but I could probably shape it off a little bit just to make that work as a piece. Oh yeah, and again, this one is from March 1953, so this is a very old one. Get ready for some pretty crazy stuff. That's what I always say when I'm opening these. So again, right away, I love this photo. I love the grocery store ones. I always find really interesting ways to do them, especially like this. She has a cart. It could be full of something, or she could be grabbing something else off the shelf that's kind of a little bit wacky. Could have something else coming through the chocolate bar, for example. I wish I had these legs I've been trying to do something with. If they were the other way around, like that, it'd be perfect. The woman coming out of the chocolate bar. Maybe I'll cut out the chocolate bar for now. I'm still thinking about it, so maybe I'll cut out this whole page. When cutting these ones, I literally don't even have to push down on this. Just the weight of this alone is cutting the paper. So they're super thin and fragile. Now that's a symbol. That's a bad one. And Jemima is a famous brand for having this sleeve. Quickly, I mean not quickly, but they've rebranded and I feel like they did a pretty good job at doing that. Although it's crazy to see it in the wild. This one I could see being really funny. Tempt your dog with real red raw meat. I feel like you could do it with temptation of something else. Picture this being like a rocket ship instead or something, or holding it. But I wish the hand was on the page a little bit more. It's just not enough potentially to actually work. I've done a lot of where I've cut out the hands like this and then I've never used them because I can't find anything that fits the exact size. I don't know if you can read this, but it says, "Hush, son," Thad said. "Nobody's going to hurt your lamb." With his free arm and scooped up the animal. Just the way they write is so flowery still in these ones. Okay, well this is ripe for humor, definitely. I love this page. You can definitely picture cutting out these people. This is pretty funny in a terrible way. Ooh. I love these people. The Jiffy jackets. We love them. Maybe I'll cut out these two. I'm not really loving this angle as much, but I really love this one. And this one I could see being interesting as well, potentially. And I mean, that makes it easy. Out of all of these ones, I definitely like this one the most. I think it's very ripe for humor, so maybe I'll cut out this one as well. And although I love this illustration, I just know I'm never going to end up using something like this in my work. But I think that pieces like this end up being really nice negative pieces to work with when you're doing just cutting out things and then making a piece with those. We'll see though. These are all great. Oof, don't get me started on the 50s food. They all look so gross. Definitely not a fan of Jell-O, so this just grosses me out. These peaches look nice. That looks gross. They just look so fake. Really like this picture. Wonder if there's a better one. And I love hands, so this is like a great spread for a bunch of hand pictures that I could potentially use eventually. I could picture like putting different things in them. I'm not sure what though. I feel like the old illustrations of tigers look like people never had seen a tiger and drew them. I don't know about you guys, but I just find them so funny in these old magazines. Or this one, this is a chimp. It looks like a dying zombie. It's so funny. Or like it almost looks like a donkey and like, yeah, like a donkey zombie thing. I don't know. It's so crazy. Got some flowers here. Those are kind of fun. I love the bubble bath pictures. They're just like a little bit too out of focus. I like to have things that are more like a focal point. Like I have these here that I love. You can tell that they're just waiting to be collaged. And ooh, look, they almost have the same colors. Maybe I'll cut those out. Collage is just all about coincidences, I swear, and a little bit of luck of picking the right magazines. That's definitely a piece that I want to work these 3 pieces into something. I'm just not sure exactly what that's going to look like yet. Maybe needs shoes. These are nice. Oh my gosh. Well, that's terrifying. But maybe it would be good. I'm not really sure if I want to use that or not. And these cans are pretty funny too. Really like this as well. So maybe I'll just cut out this whole thing. I think there's a lot of things here that are just ripe for it. And I also like this jug. I've cut out a couple jugs and I never end up using them, but maybe one day I'll have like a mega piece, or maybe they'll be good in negative pieces. I don't know. Just want to see what it says at the top too. Do you need an extra table? Let your husband see these pull-ups. They're handy to have, easy to cope. I was kind of joking that one time maybe I'll try one of these recipes, but I haven't till this day seen anything that looks even remotely appetizing. Like this, they have like walnuts in the bottom here. They always use the name Timmy too. I just think it's so funny. I don't think I've ever in my entire life met someone named Timmy, and then every single person in the 1950s just seemed to be named Timmy. It's kind of creepy. This is kind of interesting. I don't know what this could be, but I could picture this for some reason being like on top of like a natural looking like landscape or something, and having the sock turn into something. I don't know. This is kind of how I collage, is I just imagine, which is kind of actually funny is how I shop, I feel like. I kind of imagine myself wearing the things that I buy for clothing. Even if I don't buy anything, it's just fun, and this feels the exact same way. It's like I don't have to make anything with them, but I'm intrigued by the pictures, that's for sure. Good to feel good. Okay, well, there we are on book 2. Yeah, I guess you saw, but a lot of the 50s photos are still in black and white, so I feel like a lot of it isn't usable, but always the back covers have some really pretty things, and the front covers are always very beautiful as well. So I definitely want to take the front cover, so maybe I'll just put this with this one. And then we have one more magazine I want to go through. I was planning on keeping this at an hour longest, so I'm not really sure if I'm going to be able to get to the creative part. It's interesting to see, because this is like the actual timeline versus the 15-minute video that I end up usually putting at the on my channel. It takes several hours most of the time to do the whole process. But I definitely feel like I have some really great pieces here. What do you guys think? I love all of these. They're so great. And I wish there was a way to see what you guys are making at the same time. That would be so cool. Maybe I can figure that out at some point. Okay, so this is the mystery magazine. It's definitely a life magazine just from the size of it. Although maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is McLean's. I don't know. Okay, we're gonna take it for a spin and we'll see. But yeah, off the top of my head, I'm gonna guess it's from the 60s, just because there's no cigarette warning ads yet in this. And Marlboro was bigger at advertising at that time than other brands, and this feels like a first, second cover piece. So let's take a look. See, I was looking through here. Most new magazines will have what date and where this was from up here, but right now, nope. So we're just gonna have to keep guessing. I'm sure there's gonna be something that comes up. I like the hourglass from this. I don't know if having, I might have to cut out just this tiny little piece. Or it could be something that like leans and kind of goes off the screen a bit, but maybe I'll cut this piece out. Forgot to look before I cut, and that's a very, very cool piece, so I'm glad I missed it. Oh, so close. Oh my goodness. And this one's definitely in the staples. I feel like I'm gonna screw this one up. I'm not feeling very confident in cutting it out right now. That one pretty okay. And then this one I'm going to cut from this side. I think I get more leverage from here. I can see more of it, and I can see the crack. Oops, sorry. Okay, that was pretty good, and I'm shocked. Very sweet. I wonder if this would be good for the explosion series. Whenever I see a little cute picture, just Makes me think of my bad series. Oh, this is really cool too. Underwater tree. Yeah, I don't know what this magazine is. I really thought it was a life magazine, but it definitely is not. Okay. Well, both of these sides are really cool. Definitely happy to have that in my pile. These are pretty funny. And I love this texture as well. I love to use this as like a background piece or a stabilizer for like multiple pieces with abstracts. I think would be lovely. So maybe I'll cut that one out too and have some good luck on this section. Cool. Ooh. It's very rare to see this much white space on an ad at this time. It's kind of cool. Ooh, here we are. This is 1985, so I was way off. I don't know if it is actually 1985, but we'll see if there's anything else or if that was just the copyright. But I mean, usually they do the copyright for the year, so interesting. I was very off for this one. Well, this would have given it away, but from the front cover, I definitely didn't. I wasn't sure. But this, yeah, as soon as you hit the 80s, you start getting a lot more tech pieces, especially sound systems, which is very funny. 80s and 90s are just all big pieces of them. This is kind of funny. Ducks crafty won't sit around this long. I feel like this could be really funny. I'm not sure how, but yeah. This one, I don't even know what this magazine is, and it's given me a lot of great pieces. Gosh, I like this photo too. So many good ones in here. Even this one's amazing. I picture this one being good with like a hand coming out, holding something maybe on top of the car. Yeah. Oh my goodness, so many. Shoot. The stapler's getting bad. Oh my gosh, this is pretty funny. It always amazes me how in the past they could get like all this amount of celebrities together for a photo. This would like never happen today. Besides, like we all freaked out over that like Oscar selfie, but this is like 40 times bigger. Bermuda. This is very beautiful. Just picture them in a little bowl or something. Well, I feel like I had that idea, and then I feel like a lot of other people started doing the soup bowl. It's just the collective mind sometimes. We all come up with the same things at the same time as collage artists. It's really pretty. Good one. That's cool. See, I kind of expected me to go through these very quickly and then start creating, but here we are for the whole video of Now it's been what, 57 minutes we're at. Oh my gosh, this photo is so funny. And we're still looking through the magazines. So this is a telltale that collage takes a very long time. Maybe if I do one on a Sunday, I can like block it off for like 2 hours, or, you know, prep before a little bit more. Because right now it's more just the fact that I wanted to find collage material first and then make something. Oh my gosh, ostrich. But yeah. It's funny now because these papers are becoming more like newspaper papers for some reason. Just like it has like a section of worse quality paper. I like that photo. These ones have the legs. I wonder if the, let me find her. I wonder if the candy bar one would fit those in. Maybe we have. Might be a little tight. That's a good pun right there. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is really funny too. Gosh, this magazine's really good. This one's really funny. I swear I usually only cut out maybe like 2 things per magazine, and I was expecting to have a tiny little pile to work with, but here we are. Come on. I really like this one. This is my favorite one so far. The tacky dress is hilarious. And then the typewriter, I could picture something really cool coming out. Maybe the stocking is coming out of it. And maybe this is a different photo. Or cutting it off here and then putting something else in the background. I think it'd be very cool. Could go for a chocolate chip cookie right now. I'm hungry. This is very cool too. They just did good advertisement back then. I really am sad that we've fallen to such low standards of advertisement now. I feel like they make it for the common denominator person versus before it was all about being clever and interesting, and the articles are so crazy and different. They're just things that you would never see in magazines anymore. Definitely like that. That's pretty. Again, not sure what to do with it, but I mean, this magazine clearly has a lot of amazing pieces, so I'm definitely going to keep it on my shelf where it's easily accessible for later. Oh, this is so cute. I just really love people. I realized is with my collages, they all have to have a person in them. Maybe we'll cut that out quick while we're doing the video still. Oh my gosh. These outfits, I love them. Here we could do a explosion piece. I think it'll fit. Maybe we could do that really quick. right? So I could cut this one out. Okay, let's see. Let's flip through the rest of this really quick. Wow, that's a cool picture too. I would love to use this at some point. Really cool. This could 100% be something big, gigantic whale. Something like that, something weird. Oh my goodness, that's terrifying. And this picture is awesome. I love this. I could definitely picture this, like cutting this out and having like something else coming out of it, or yeah, that's beautiful. And this is actually why I picked this magazine, is I saw this picture in the back of it sticking out and I loved it. Okay, well, there we go. We've gone through all our collage material. I don't want to leave you empty-handed without a collage, so I think that maybe we can make this really fast. I'm going definitely to my comfort zone in regard to creating, but I don't want to keep you too long because, you know, it's been an hour already and I'm glad that you guys are hanging around, but definitely want to make this enjoyable, and I hope you're creating some lovely collages as well. Maybe I'll have a sip of tea quick. Okay, so this piece, it's really interesting. This paper is like shiny. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got this really interesting metallic finish. And then we're going to cut out this. Grab my chair. It's always funny when some of the colors blend into themselves and the background and that sort of thing. I'm trying to figure out what's got like that looks like his leg, but I don't think it makes sense to keep it as well. But here it makes sense to keep it. I don't know, we'll see. I hope I made the right decision. And then with hair, I just like to like move my scissors organically. I'm never capturing all of it, but I find that this gives me the best texture versus them being like circle bowl cuts basically, which I see a lot in some collage artists' work. So this is definitely a technique you can try if you don't do this already. Basically doing it the way that you would do it, like a cloud or something like that. It just keeps the hair the right look versus becoming flat and cutting along it in an interesting, weird way. That looks pretty good. Now let's switch over to the scalpel. So whenever I can start to see the white, that's like my worst pet peeve about using the X-Acto knife. Let me see if I can, where did I have my, I'm gonna get out like a new blade and I'll put it in my old blade thing after this. You know, one of the questions I get asked the most in galleries or if I'm at an art event is actually, how many times have you cut yourself? And somehow the answer is never. I've never cut myself from the blades, I've never cut myself from the scissors. Oh my gosh. There we go. I'm very lucky for that. Okay, so this should make it so that it doesn't have that white line around it as much. You see that? It's so much nicer. I don't know if it's noticeable unless with the naked eye, but huge difference for me. It's like the difference of me not wanting to do any scalpel and doing it. I always see it in other artists' work and I'm like, no, come on, switch the blade. Just makes it look so much more neat. So you can see it here, like there's basically no color there, and then here you can see the white line. So definitely make sure to change your blades as often as you can. It makes a difference. I feel like I now like psyched myself out saying I've never been cut before by the blade. I'm gonna be on a live stream one time and ruin it all. It'll be a terrible day. It's always funny editing the video too because I flip around the piece so much. I'm always worried that people don't know which way is up. But it's really hard because you kind of almost cut, with scissors you always cut upside down because I'm right-handed, so you don't end up getting the best angle of it, so sometimes I'll flip it so that you can watch me cut it from the right way of the image, but then it's the wrong way for like viewing the actual way that I'm doing it, so I don't know if that screws it up or not, but it's always a funny thing. I'm just going to do a couple more details in here. Got a little corner caught in there, but that's okay. Okay, this piece is all cut out. Let's give it a moment of truth and see if this is going to work on this one. Let me lift you up a little bit. There we go. I don't know about you guys, but I actually really like this. I think it's simple, but it's kind of showing like, you know, this is like a sweet moment, but maybe Dad isn't having as good of a time mentally. Although I love doing this series, it definitely takes like very wholesome moments and makes them evil. But I think that a lot of my art does that, unfortunately. I have a bit of a cynical sense of humor. I could almost see me cutting out this silver part and just having white and having his feet in this basket hang off of it, maybe. But yeah, what do you guys think? I think it looks pretty nice. I'm feeling good about that. Well, it's kind of funny because this was so much faster than going through the magazines. um, but yeah, maybe I will start to wrap things up then. I just want to say, maybe I can flip the camera back. Let me give you a closer look at this first. I think that's really nice. It actually works really well. I'm shocked because usually with these I have a huge stack of the colored front images and then a huge stack of the other ones. And this is like an older photo, 1942, so that's kind of cool. Combines the two. It's still vintage. Okay, let me flip the camera back. Okay, well, I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I see there's still a lot of you here, so I'm really happy with that. Please let me know if you enjoyed this. I would love to make this into a regular thing, as I said. I would love to do like a collage club type of thing where I'll make some pieces and you can join in and make your own pieces. I know there's other streaming services where I could have other people join in and show their pieces that they're working on and kind of talk through some really interesting topics. If they have questions, they can pop on. But also, I know who I am, and I know if I'm watching a live, I'm just going to be hanging out with the person and not really engaging as much. So it's totally up to you guys how this will evolve. I definitely really enjoyed it, and I really hope you did too. And I hope you have a lovely night. And I hope that we are able to do this again soon. I'm hoping, I said hoping so many times now. I want to do this like once a month, maybe. That way that it's like a 1/5 of my content will be live streams, and it gives everyone an opportunity to look forward to something every month. So let me know what you thought about this, how I can improve. Maybe next time I will go through the content more before. Maybe we'll go through one magazine, then have a bunch of things to the side. I would love to do more of the creation process in the next one. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope you have a lovely night. Bye, guys.